Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help ambitious private practitioners across the globe to brand themselves and grow their dream practices. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building ninja tips. Visit privatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and our signature marketing e-course. Here are your co-hosts, Dr. Kate Campbell and Katie Lemieux.
Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. Today, we are diving into another success story. And where are they now? And our guest today will be Alexa von Ortzen, licensed marriage and family therapist and owner of Haven Family Therapy. So you'll get to hear about her journey into private practice, the trials, the tribulations, the successes, and where she's now and what's working for her. But before we do that, we hope that you all joined us last week as Kate and I talked about a question that we get asked often, which is, what therapy forms do I need when starting a private practice? So check out that podcast so you can be in the know, be protected both legally and ethically. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about Alexa. Alexa has worked for 5 years serving high-risk teens and families, both in the nonprofit agency world and behavioral schools, with the goal of keeping teens from entering DJJ, so the Department of Juvenile Justice, or harming themselves. She entered private practice in 2014 and really loves mending relationships and helping teens and adults find their strengths and abilities in order to conquer obstacles and build better lives. So we're going to hear from her in just a short minute. And I just wanted to say welcome to our newcomers. Welcome to being part of Startup Nation family. You're an immediate member. We're so excited that you're here. We have a gift for you that's called Your Dream Private Practice Playbook. This is the exact methodology that Kate and I have used to create our six-figure private practices and help many therapists like Alexa do the same. So we would love to gift that to you. Head on over to privatepracticestartup.com, slide on over to the resources section, and there you will see that. So go ahead and grab that, enjoy, and cheers to your private practice success. So before we dive into Alexa's topic today, let's just take a quick moment and appreciate and thank our sponsors.
Is managing your practice stressing you out? Try Therapy Notes. It makes billing, notes, scheduling, and telehealth a whole lot easier. Check it out, and you will quickly see why it's rated the highest EHR on Trustpilot with over 1,000 verified customer reviews and an average customer rating of 4.9 or 5 stars. You'll notice the difference from the first day you sign up for the trial. They offer live phone support 7 days a week. So when you have questions, you can quickly reach someone who can help. You are never wasting time looking for answers. If you're coming from another EHR, they make the transition really easy. Therapy Notes will import your client's demographic data free of charge during your trial so you can get going right away. Use the promo code PPS to get your first 2 months for free, or try out Therapy Notes for free, no strings attached, including their very reliable telehealth platform. Make 2021 the best year yet with Therapy Notes. As a therapist, you're probably too preoccupied with your caseload to think about bookkeeping or tax filing. Herd is a bookkeeping and tax platform built specifically for therapists that helps you track and improve your practice's financial health. Regardless of whether you're a seasoned clinician or in the first year of your practice, Herd will help you identify areas for growth and streamline best financial practices for your business. When you sign up, you'll work directly with financial specialists to track your income and expenses, file taxes online, and grow your business. You'll also receive financial insights such as profit and loss statements and personalized monthly reports. Say goodbye to reviewing spreadsheets and guessing your tax deductions or quarterly payments. Focus on your clients, and Herd will take care of the rest. Dr. Katia, a psychologist based in San Francisco, says, "Working with Herd freed up my time to focus on what really matters in my practice. Managing my books is now easy, transparent, and cost-effective. Plans begin at $75 per month and can easily be tailored to fit your business's financial needs. Schedule your first consultation at joinherd.com. That's joinherd.com.
Alexa, how are you doing?
Hello, Kate and Katie. Great to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you. I know that Kate obviously has had a lot. I've known you for a long time, but Kate's had more contact with you over the years. So she's known a little bit more about your journey, and I get to hear a lot of it kind of for the first time. So I'm really excited about this. I guess we always just kind of start like, what made you, what was the desire to become a therapist and then to help teens and adults?
Sure, absolutely. Well, it was since very early that I've always enjoyed working with people and understanding people, different cultures. I'm from a different culture, so traveled a lot when I was younger. And then, of course, I experienced a lot of trials and tribulations, which made me really want to understand people. So I actually came to the States for college. Unfortunately, it wasn't for therapy. I actually was doing business and turned into corporate America. But even back then, I took a psychology course and I fell in love with it. I so wanted to switch my major, but it was just too late financially to do so.
So how did you graduate with a business degree, and then you were in corporate America for about how long?
Yes. Yeah. So I did. And I was in corporate America, I would say, for 15 years. It's hard to step away for the money. And of course, with everything, bringing my family here and helping everybody, myself, I didn't really know anybody here originally. It was a lot to overcome to try to be in a situation where I could then think of, hey, you know what? I want to go do something else. And when I was finally in that position in my 30s, I said, you know what, everybody's probably 19 years old, but I'm going to go back to school. And that's what I did. And I just loved it from the first class.
That's awesome. And what was the thing that finally you kind of gave yourself permission to do that?
I was in a position where I didn't have to help so many people in my 30s. And I said, this is probably the only time I'm ever going to have to just take a break from working so hard and going back to school and doing what I really love. I actually took a week off to figure out what was it exactly that I wanted to do. And then I interviewed different universities around me to figure out which one was more my feel. And I ended up with marriage and family therapy, which I'm so happy I did.
Awesome. Very good. And how old were you when you came to the U.S.?
I was 17, so 17. Some time ago.
Gotcha. And where did you come from? I don't know if you had mentioned that.
No, I'm actually from Brazil, but my father was German. My mom was American, and I grew up in Brazil. So early on, we were always traveling, and we had different languages, and we had to kind of understand the different cultures. And I just loved it. We traveled a lot, and it was, I think, the beginning of my exploration and curiosity towards people.
Very cool. So finally in your 30s, you gave yourself the permission to go back to school. You fell in love with marriage and family therapy. And then after, I don't know if your story kind of starts in your internship or more so after you graduated, but take us through that.
So when I graduated, that's when I actually met Kate. I was an intern for some time. I worked for different agencies, settled with youth and families, really enjoyed that. I had to go to the homes back then. And then I worked out of a behavioral school. That was super enjoyable because it was, I think, really high intensity, and it made you have to do it, and it was all the time. It was intense therapy, and it gave me the skills to later on, I think, naturally progress into private practice so that I could have more freedom and really select who I wanted to work with and be better for those clients. So that's kind of how I ended up in private practice. Not without any challenges, I have to say. I had to take a hiatus for a little bit and came back again. But I think everything I've had to go through has given me the strengths and a different dimension to then give back to the clients that go through the same things, every day.
Talk a little bit about that.
About my challenges or about
about your challenges and how it's helped you grow and be where you are.
Well, personally, I had a divorce. I had to deal with a daughter that I adopted from Colombia. I wanted to obviously adopt a daughter from Colombia, but at the time I didn't realize that my marriage wasn't going to go. So I was kind of in the middle of that, trying to be on my own, take care of my daughter. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very good divorce. And then my mom came to live with me, because she's older, and from Brazil too, had to come over here. So again, I've always been trying to help my family, my brother. And so again, it was that issue of, do I jump into private practice? Am I going to make the money, or do I stick with what I know brings me the money, that I can take care of everybody? So that's kind of what happened. I guess I had to do what I had to do at the time and take care of my family. But then I was able to save and to get to a position where I could come back. And luckily I was able to come back again. And I think this time even more determined. And this is when I really started reaching out to other people to help me to understand better. How do I run a business? There's more than just going and speaking to the client. There's the marketing side, there's the financial side, the accounting. I'm not good at accounting. So this time really listening and getting the experts to help me. And that's where it's been so helpful. Even with you guys, private practice startup and the e-marketing course. So those pieces have to happen so that we can actually build something that's going to last.
Just out of curiosity, Alex, I know Kate and I talk about this a lot, like our mentality, like when we first came into the business. Kate talks about the field of dreams mentality. Do you have a saying, like, this is like what you initially thought about business and owning your own business?
Yeah, so I've tried. This is my third business. Okay, so I've tried. The first time it wasn't even this; it was in actual business, And then I realized that here I was trying to do everything alone. I thought, as long as I sell and get in the revenue, I'll be fine. But I didn't think about expenses. I didn't think about. So every time going back, you're trying to, I think. Really narrow in on what you're good at, narrow in on who would want your services, narrow it in, because then that's the supply and demand, which I have that background, but not necessarily in this field. So I really had to get that help. So yeah, I thought that it might be easier than it was. And it's not easy. You really do have to be open to not only have a positive mind frame, because you do have to have that positivity. You can't just go in there and think, well, can I do it? Can I not? You just have to go for it. But then at the same time, find the people that are there that can help you, like how to have an online presence. All these things were just not something I knew.
Yeah. So share with us some of the things that have helped you be where you are today.
Well, as far as a business owner, a big thing was to first figure out, okay, here I want to be something for everybody. That doesn't really work, because who is everybody, right? It's not achievable. So I really had to figure out, okay, what do I most love to do? What have I gravitated towards? And just let that flow. And I realized for me, it was, teens and families. I really enjoy that. I feel that I can provide a lot. So then how do you find those people? How do you become the person that they would want, and just really narrow down that niche? And I was able to luckily find the e-marketing course that really helped me bring that in. And also, how do you speak to that client? So there's so many aspects of it. What's the language that you use? What are their concerns? How can you really step into what they're going through? Luckily, I'm also a mom of a teen. It does help sometimes, to understand that, sometimes I think parents feel kind of vilified, like, oh my God, I did something wrong. My kid is having a hard time. No, there's no instructions. We all go through it. And the fact that we are worried about it means we love them. So again, I just like to incorporate all of that in. And I'm very holistic in that way, where it's the whole family and it's not just the kid or just the mom. But anyway, so where was I? I just get into what I love and I forget the question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, right? And that's exactly, how we know we've got on our niche, right? It's always like that soapbox moment where I can just go on and on and on and on and not even know where I'm at. It's like, oh, this is what I love.
This is what So just being able to speak to that client and show them what part of me I can offer for that client. And then I think it's been working very well because I've been able to have people help me write it, have, how to send a message online, I've been doing blogs, all these things. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what that was. What is a blog? I know it sounds crazy that I didn't know this, but remember, I'm older. I come from books in those days. And so now just writing blogs is my first podcast. So again, thank you. And just being relevant in the moment to what people want now. And I do notice that, from generation to generation, it changes so much. What the teens want now versus what the teens needed before.
Yeah, I mean, with just being in business overall as a business owner, like you have to keep up with so many stuff. But with teens, oh my gosh, fads and trends and things change so rapidly. So it's funny. Obviously, you're a really good friend, Tani, and that's my best friend. And it's funny because she'll say stuff that I'm like, I realized the moment I used to work with teens, right? I loved working with children and families. And I realized the moment that I was just like, I'm too old to work with them anymore because I'm not hip enough. I can't keep up with all of their, trends and stuff like that. But yeah, having to stay relevant with teens is a lot.
It's a lot. And luckily, I have a teen and she speaks with me in that language and she explains it to me, so like, what's sus, what's bet? What are these language? and it's so funny, what's all about the trends going on, and all of this has just helped me really be open to the max to listening. And, it's working very well. I'm seeing now like referrals from one client to another, and it's just a slow process. We can't expect to be successful overnight. We can expect to work hard. We can expect to be persistent and to keep doing what we do right and well, and it will come. It's that positive, I think, again, understanding that when you do something, there will be a result. You just have to keep doing it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard, right? Because we can't see that the result is going to be there for sure, right? It's not like a 2 + 2 = 4, right? It's like, okay, someone said that this works. I'm following it with faith, right? Doing the system. Right. And then we get to see the result. For you, Alexa, what are some of the things that you've had to overcome with your own mindset stuff to be where you are today in business?
I think it's funny, being not originally an American. I think sometimes immigrants like myself might think that we're not good enough because we don't know the culture. So I don't know. It's just almost like this inferiority thing that can sneak in, a little bit. But on the other hand, I always try to compete with myself. It's kind of funny. Like I talk a lot to myself. It's like, all right, you can do this. There's other people that have done it, and just trying to look at the positives of who has done it instead of who hasn't. So it's just that positive mind of saying, okay, all right, maybe you don't know everything that there is to know, but start asking. And a lot of times that's what I used to do even in corporate America. I would ask 5 different people and I would rotate them out so they didn't think I was dumb. And that way I'd get all the answers. You just have to be persevering and really try. And every day you gain something new. Like every day I'm learning something new. And it's that enjoyment of learning that I think helps.
It's so neat to hear you just sharing your story on the podcast today, because you and I go way back. And when we first met, as you were a master's level intern working at the intensive outpatient program that I was a part of, and that was before I had even opened up our group practice, Bayview, which was over a decade ago. So it was a long time ago. And then we've had these touch points of being able to work together and collaborate. And, I was your supervisor many moons ago. And here you are, and you joined the private practice marketing e-course and coaching program. I guess it was, when did you start that? Was that last fall?
Yes, it was last
6
fall.
months ago?
Yes, exactly. And it's kind of like how I've everything I encounter with this career that I love so much, I just go for it. So I didn't just sit on it. Every week I did, what it said, stick with it, read through it, try to do the exercises. Don't just read it and don't do the exercises. I actually incorporated the exercises into my website. So, I went all in, and I think that's so important to just go all in and try and do your best and see how it comes out. So,
and that's one of the things that I've always loved about you, is that you really immerse yourself in whatever it is that you're committed to. You have this this curiosity that you're almost like a sponge. You just want to soak it all up. And you shared that story about you going and asking for feedback from different people and having ways of really learning through asking all of the right questions. And this passion that you have of helping people, you've always come back to that. So to see you really living that on a daily basis and helping so many teens and families and adults to really live their best lives is so incredible to see. Give Startup Nation a snapshot of what your week looks like, how many clients you're seeing, and just a little bit about what your practice looks like.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I'm so grateful. I practice mindfulness every day, believe it or not, and gratefulness every day. That's part of what I need to feed myself so I can give to others. So that I'm huge into that. But so I'm very lucky and grateful to have about, 20 to 23 clients a week at this point, which I think is amazing in the short time that we've even got together again, and just mostly teens, because I do really enjoy that, but also adults with a variety of different things that they're trying to kind of stuck in and trying to understand themselves better, get to a better place, relationships. But so I like to just plan out my week ahead of time, make sure I follow up with the clients, make sure they have other needs, because with parents, parents want to know how things are going. And of course, we can't tell them exactly what's happening, but we certainly tell them what we think about what's going on, what they can help, and create that situation where they're part of it and not outside of it wondering what's happening to my kid, So I spend time making sure that I follow up. I spend time making sure I communicate. I sometimes work with the schools, psychiatrists, and I just like to be able to kind of help the whole umbrella to help the family. So I think, that is enough for me. 23 clients a week is enough where I don't burn out in any way. I'm not the person that plans everything 100% because I'm very much in the moment, listening and responding in the moment. So that doesn't create for me any sort of tiredness or mental tiredness of any kind, strangely enough. So I just keep doing it. But so I still have time for myself. I exercise. I've had to do that a little bit more, because, with the COVID, I kind of gained a little bit, but that's okay. I accept myself for who I am. It's all right. So every week I just keep doing the same thing, just making sure I have enough clients, making sure I'm following up the next appointment, calling new clients, trying to be the best for them to want to give me a try. And then now for the summer, since it's a little bit less of the teens because of summertime and enjoying themselves, I'm going to use that now to try to do a little bit more advertising, get myself out there more, because I believe I have a really nice website that can offer a lot of information, and try to get myself out there a little bit more, and maybe even get with the schools around me in Coral Springs and get them to know me as well, and they could use me for outside services.
I just have to say, Alexa, your website is stellar. You and your website team that you outsource the development to and the design to, you all did such an amazing job. And Startup Nation, if you all want to see a good example of a beautiful website that really is clear on speaking to ideal clients, definitely check out Alexa's website. We'll put the link in the show notes for you.
Yeah, they were fantastic, and they helped me to this day. So I'm thankful for them as well.
Awesome. And I'm sure people are wondering, who did you use?
Theory about that. They worked very well with a friend of mine who is also a therapist. And I said, I want that. And but the best thing about them is they really incorporate your personality into the site. They allow you, that they're so free of ego, they just like, okay, who are you and what do you want on this thing? So it's just great.
Awesome. And we actually had the owner of Theory About That on our podcast as well. So we'll add those to the show notes page too. Alexa, for those people just starting private practice or struggling private practice, what words of advice or wisdom do you have for them?
Well, to me, I feel that if you love what you do, that will give you the motivation and the perseverance to get out there, to work hard, to look for your answers, to look for the resources that you need, and to know that because you love it so much, it must be a function. It must be a purpose. I believe that we all have a purpose, and we find it sooner or later. And that comes from that excitement, that inside excitement that nobody gave to you, just kind of happened. And when you feel that, I think you just have to go for it and believe in yourself, and that for some reason, this is what matched and fit for you. So, and really listening to everybody else who are the people who are the experts on certain things that maybe we're not the experts on. And to really engage all these different resources that are out there for us, That's what helped for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any final thoughts or other things that you wanted to share that you want to make sure our audience takes away from your message today?
Just that, you have to have your own balance as well as a therapist. We're a therapist. We're not robots or superheroes, right? So we all have to have our own balance and figure out what is it that works for us to kind of make us be able to continue to give what we give. It's important to accept ourselves, to love ourselves, and to figure out what are the things that we need to complement our lives with to make it work, And for me, it's mindfulness. I'm so happy to have found that. Believe it or not, COVID is what helped me with this. I don't know why, it just happened. And I just started reading on this and just changed a lot how I view life and my balance. So
awesome.
Just want to share that. I hope,
no, it's so very important. And it's, we need reminders because not all therapists are taking good care of themselves. So we appreciate that. And we so appreciate you being here and just sharing about your journey and what's worked and what hasn't worked and what you've overcome. So thank you so much, Alexa. And we hope that you guys join us next week for our podcast as we dive into how do I get private pay clients in private practice. One of the topics that Kate and I love to talk about is definitely our niche and really what we help people in regards to really building a successful practice, helping therapists work with the clients they love and really living their dream life. I know that Alexis had shared about our marketing e-course. It's no secret. Kate and I love to help therapists, and we want you to work with the clients you absolutely love. Like Alexis said, we want you to be inspired and excited to work with the clients you love, but we also want you to have a successful business. So we're going to put that link in our show notes, and we are going to invite you to join us. We would love to have you aboard and really help you with the marketing and business aspect of business. So Startup Nation, Kate, anything else?
No, I just wanted to say, Alexa, it was so great to have you on the podcast and just sharing your story in private practice. And I'm sure many people related to a lot of the aspects that you talked about. And Startup Nation, if you're enjoying these episodes, we would love to hear from you. We encourage you to subscribe and rate and review the show, share with your fellow colleagues and friends, anybody who needs some encouragement and inspiration along their private practice journey. So if there's a topic that we haven't talked about yet or something that you're looking for with the podcast, definitely let us know. And we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode. In the meantime, stay inspired. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.